Hey, my name's Alex. Wanted to show off this two-tier navigation menu I made for Ignition. I originally designed it based off the Ignition manual. I kind of liked, the color scheme and the side menu they had, and I was kind of trying to make this tree they have on the left. But that ended up being a little cumbersome, and I simplified it into kind of a two-tier list design. So let me show it off. I'm thinking about putting this on the Ignition Exchange. So I'm kind of simplifying it and taking out any kind of clutter that could interfere with other people's projects. Still kind of looking into that. So here's how it works. You'll see like these three items on the menu have little arrows next to them. That means they have a subcategory. So if I click, say, tanks, it pops out this little menu that I can click the different tanks. So to get back to the main menu, there's an arrow to the left of my mouse right here on this little bar. So as soon as I mouse over it, anywhere on this bar, it's going to open up the menu and you can, click around. So I'm switching between all these different windows. Here's, some different pump screens. And as soon as I move my mouse off the navigation, it collapses to kind of save room. So it works pretty well. If you go off the screen, it kind of stays open till you come back into the window. Yeah. So as far as how it works, there's basically two tables that specify what can show up in this main list and what can show up in the secondary list. And you can see in like the title bar right here, when I click into pumps, it changes pumps. It says pump overview. If I select like pump screen A, it switches out this text. So it's kind of doing that dynamically. This is kind of separate from, it's linked to what's going on over here. Right now I'm just trying to think of ways to simplify everything. I've got kind of the animation and the mouse, movement really dialed in, so that works. But some things that I'd like to fix are, how everything is kind of organized. Like I'm using some, gateway scripts for updating these lists, and some, client tags and a lot of bindings, and I'm using, template repeaters, and that's kind of how all this is set up. Just want to simplify everything, and the behind the scenes configuration for actually specifying what these two tiers look like. It's basically two tags in the gateway, whatever tag provider you're using, that have data sets. So one data set for the tier 1 and one data set for tier 2. And the secondary data set is basically showing, it'll have a list of pump overview, screen A, screen B, and then it also has, tank A, tank B, and tank C. So it has all of the sub pages on it. And whatever I select here, I basically do, a lookup on that other table to show, what should show up in the tier 2. So that makes kind of configuration, really nice. I don't have to come and, add a button or anything or mess with the customizer for the, the tab component. And then also, like, say if I have tanks right here, the window doesn't actually have to be called, tanks A. The label of whatever shows up here is separate from the window path in Ignition. So, you have tank A, and then your window path can be whatever you want it to be. Another option I had, that's actually, I have it working, but kind of stripped it out of this demo is some alarm counters. So when you're configuring the table of items, you can say, all right, I want to search for alarms on this tag provider and this display path. Show me all the pump alarms. So you can specify that. And then, if you have unacknowledged alarms, they'll be red, say like red 5, 5 unacknowledged alarms. Or say if all your alarms are acknowledged, then it'll show, 4 acknowledged alarms in yellow. But that kind of complicates the whole thing because I tried to optimize it. And so I'll go through that whole list, collect all the filters I'm supposed to use, and then I, put them all together and make one request to the gateway server. And then using all of those requests, or just the one request, I then go back and populate 2 more tags in the tag provider with all of the configuration I had to set this up, plus columns for those counters, because I know I have this running for at one location there's 50 people using Ignition at any time, so that's 50 people that would be making alarm requests if I had done it in the client. So I have that moved to the gateway. It doesn't update as fast, but I mean it's good enough for showing kind of where the problems are. But yeah, I think I'll put this out on the exchange eventually without the alarms, just to keep it simple. And then maybe if I can clean that up, I'll put it out there with the alarms also. Right now, I just have the alarm counters going up on the tier 1 side. I did have it on the tier 2 next to these, but I thought it was a bit too much. Yeah. There's options as far as permissions. So when I'm configuring it, I have options to check a box on that row for the table and say, I don't want, we're getting rid of all these pumps. Just click hide this page for now. So you can instantly just hide any page without removing it from the whole configuration. And then you can also say, what roles do I need to access this page? So, you can still have your role configuration done in the designer. But, if that's all you were going to do and you weren't going to touch anything, they'd still be able to see those pages in the navigation. So, say they had an admin screen under pumps and you click admin, it would say, access denied. But I also have a column in that table for the roles. So if I have administrator as one of the roles that page needs, before I show all of these windows for this subnab, I'll check that you have permission to access administrator roles. So if you don't, it won't show pump screen A, B, or it won't show, whatever the admin screen is. So that's another option. But yeah, if anyone has questions, let me know.